here for the Board of Aldermen meeting and engaging with your elected officials. Listening to perspectives of city residents, business owners, and other community members helps our elected leaders make more informed decisions. Before the meeting begins, let's review our rules of order. These ensure the meeting is orderly and efficient while allowing everyone who would like to speak an opportunity to do so. There are two opportunities for you to speak: during the agenda's scheduled visitor and guest portion of the meeting, and during public discussion of new bills and resolutions. During the agenda's scheduled visitor and guest portion, anyone who signed up at the city clerk's office before 5 p.m. the Wednesday before the meeting can speak to aldermen about the topic they specified. Now, in the public discussion of new bills and resolutions, that allows you to give comments for aldermen to consider before they make a decision. The consent agenda bills are not open to comment. If you want to speak about an item on the consent agenda, you must sign up by noon the Friday before the meeting. You can do that by contacting the city clerk in writing, or fill out a card in the council chambers before the meeting starts. Write down the specific bill and give the card to the city clerk before the consent agenda is set. That bill will then go to a first reading, which is open to public discussion, and anyone may speak about it. Anytime anyone is speaking, the following rules apply. First, only one person should speak at a time. Please be respectful of the person speaking and hold your comments until it's your turn. Second, anyone speaking must do so from the podium and speak into the microphone. Third, you must first provide your name and address in writing to the city clerk before beginning your comments. These forms are provided near the entrance. You also must state your name and address to the Board of Aldermen using the podium microphone. Fourth, all comments should be addressed to the mayor and aldermen. Finally, all speakers have 5 minutes to make their comments. The mayor or alderman may have additional questions for speakers after their 5-minute time limit. Occasionally, the board will invite someone to make a presentation at the meeting. This is only to give information to the board about a specific topic. These presenters will have no time limit on giving their information. This meeting will be live streamed and recorded with video and audio unless there are technical difficulties. The use of cell phones or other devices is discouraged during the meeting. Please silence your phones right now. Again, thank you for being here and engaging with the City of Ozark. The meeting will begin shortly.
Roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken.
Here.
Alderman Campbell.
Here.
Alderman Galloway.
Here.
Alderman Hutchinson. Here. Alderman Metcalf.
Here.
Alderman Snyder.
Here.
We have 6 aldermen present. We have a quorum.
Very good, thank you. We'll now look at our 2 sets of minutes before us. The first one is for June the 16th, 2025, our regular session. Are there any questions or comments regarding the June 16th minutes? Okay. Yeah.
Please note that I will abstain as I was not there.
Okay, understand. If not, is there a motion?
A motion is to approve the minutes of June 16th, regular session meeting.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is to approve the June 16th, 2025 minutes as printed. And so the motion was made by Alderman Metcalf, second by Alderman Snyder. All in favor to approve these minutes, do so by a show of hands. And we do have one as privilege abstaining. Okay. Next set of minutes is June 26, 2025. Any questions regarding these minutes? I'm not seeing. Is there a motion that we approve?
And I was absent on this one, so I'll abstain here.
Okay, I understand. Is there a motion that we approve?
Yes, I move that we approve the June 26 non-legislative session minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion was made by Alderman Metcalf, second by Alderman Hutchinson, to approve as printed, the June 26, 2025 non-legislative session minutes. All in favor, do so by show of hands. And we have one abstaining. Okay. Item 5, there's no ceremonial matters tonight, but we do have a scheduled guest at this time, Mr. Robert Huffman, who may come now to the podium.
He didn't let me know if he was not attending, so.
Okay. So I take it Mr. Robert is not in the audience. Okay. Therefore, we'll move on. There's no items here tonight on the consent agenda, so we'll go to our next part, which is the second reading of our bill. Now, this is closed to public discussion this time, but it's bill number 3674.
Yes, Your Honor, I move that we place Bill number 3674 on its second reading by title and brief description only.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is we place bill number 3674 on second reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf, second by Alderman Aiken. All in favor of the motion to discuss bill 3674, do so by show of hands. That does carry.
An ordinance amending the corporate boundaries of the city of Ozark, Missouri by annexing an approximately 20-acre parcel of real property located in the 3600 block of North Highway NN.
Okay. Do we have some comments from our Director, Randall Whitman?
Yes, good evening. I don't have any additional information to share since the public hearing was hosted in June. I'll be glad to answer any questions. I noticed the applicant is here, so if there's any questions for him.
Any questions? Alderman Snyder?
Yeah, Director Whitman, I do have one question. I have reason to believe that there's going to be a multitude of multifamily housing proposed for this property. Do you know anything about that? I'm just curious.
I don't. I can tell you that you have submitted an application to process an application to rezone the property to general mixed use. There was a hearing in the June 23rd Planning and Zoning Commission meeting, and you'll hear that at your next board meeting on July 21st. But other than that, it's just a zoning district. It's not a plan. There's no preliminary plat or anything like that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for our Director? Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, Your Honor, I make a motion that we adopt Bill number 3674 as ordinance number 25-050.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion is that we adopt bill number 3674 to become ordinance 25-050. That motion was made by Alderman Metcalf, second by Alderman Hutchinson. Roll call, please.
Alderman Aiken.
Aye.
Alderman Metcalf.
Aye.
Alderman Snyder.
Nay.
Alderman Hutchinson. Aye. Alderman Galloway.
Aye.
Alderman Campbell.
Aye.
We have 6 aye votes, 1 nay. Motion carries.
Okay, thank you very much. As for first reading of bills and resolution, which is open for public discussion. As for former public hearing bill, there's none tonight, but we do have a new bill, and that's bill number 3675.
Your Honor, I move that we place bill 3675 on first reading by title only.
Second.
Okay. The motion is that we place new bill 3675 on its first reading by title only. That motion was made by Alderman Aiken. It was seconded by Alderman Metcalf. All in favor of voting on the motion to discuss bill 3675, do so by show of hands. That does carry.
An ordinance of the city of Ozark, Missouri, authorizing the mayor to accept and enter into a surface transportation block grant program agreement with the Missouri Highways and Transportation Commission.
Okay. At this time, we'll recognize Public Works Director Jeremy Parson.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We're going to do a quick little refresher. Back in March, we presented kind of a game plan for the Highway CC corridor. So I'm going to give you an update on that. bid in November of this year, according to MoDOT. That was the latest update today. Oh, there we go. Now, the pivot. Let's talk about the pivot. We decided not to spend all those dollars on the boulevard and kind of hold off on that. So the current scope of project number 2 will end right about 23rd Street there, where you see that red arrow. How we got here? Remember, we kind of reassessed last time after the cost estimates came back, specifically the right-of-way and the additional right-of-way that MoDOT wanted us to capture. Collectively, we chose to implement more pressing improvements. By that, I mean, we were looking to try to get more bang for our buck. We were going to spend a lot of money on right-of-way, and honestly, we know there's a problem here. So we started putting the wheels in motion, and by me saying the wheels in motion, 22nd Street was a local street that just had the city of Ozarks control over it. We went to OTO after this meeting, and we started the federal classification change process. And basically, that's just a fancy word for saying now it's eligible for federal funding. So that passed unanimously at the Technical Planning Committee last week. It'll be heard at the Executive Committee. The OTO is confident that that's going to push through, and that's why we're here tonight. This program agreement is basically saying, okay, now that you've got 22nd Street classified as what they call a collector in their system, we can now use our STBG urban funding. And that's the ordinance that you see in front of you tonight. That type of funding is an 80-20 split. The program agreement calls that out. Currently, we're looking at about a $1.49 million project. And I'll show you the limits of that in just a minute. But approximately 1.2 of that will come from the STBG, the block grant money, and 298 will come out of our local fund, or our 030 fund, which deals directly with transportation. This thing just doesn't like me tonight. Okay, oh, now it's really going. Okay, so here's that pivot. The stacking improvements. You all know what's going on at this intersection. I'm going to point out where Rapid Roberts is right here. I'll do it this direction as well. We get a lot of stacking problems through here. There's no dedicated right-hand turn lane. That will be taken care of with the improvements that MoDOT is currently doing at the intersection. We've decided to pick up those improvements and extend them to the south. So the best way to picture this is we're going to start corralling the individual vehicles further back towards basically Petrus Circle. And you'll have one dedicated right, one dedicated left, one dedicated through lane, and then you'll have one dedicated south. So you've got all of these vehicles now that have a dedicated lane, and that will open this up significantly and allow that to flow much, much more efficiently. The other great thing about this project is this intersection that MoDOT's working on right now and has designed will have a system called ITS. That's Intelligent Transportation Systems. So basically what that allows that signal to do is talk to the other signals that are currently on the diverging diamond on Highway CC. It also talks to the signal down on Fremont. And if it sees that traffic is backing up or something's happening at the DDI, the diverging diamond interchange, it will actually change those time patterns to make it run more efficiently. So it's quite a system. They're using it all over the country now. This is just an upgrade as part of this.
Alderman Kemp has a question for you, sir.
Yeah, go right ahead.
When you were talking about the signals talking to each other,
Yep.
or whatever all that was, part of phase one on the diverging diamond was some synchronization going on there. Is that part of this, or is that
Yes.
something different?
So now they'll talk to this signal as well. So you had some synchronization up there on CC interchange, and you had it synchronized with 17th Street where Lambert's is. Now it will talk to 22nd Street and to Fremont. So that whole new fiber system will talk to them. So it just creates efficiencies. And it builds an algorithm too that kind of, as you get more traffic, it shows what is the most efficient way to move vehicles through there. So we're not just doing that though. When OTO came to us and said, hey, let's use this STBG urban funding, we've got issues that we can resolve all the way down to Longview. So these maps here show that is currently the substation. This is Tracker Marine here. And this road will be improved all the way up to Garden. And then we'll pick it up again at Garden and all along Old World Estates, and then tie that into 22nd Street. So you're getting improvements all the way from CC to Longview. That's what we're proposing in this program agreement. And it needed improvements. You all know this. I'm not going to bash on that. It grew too fast. We know that, and we're playing catch up. But I think this is the best path forward to really make this intersection sing. So what's next? Tonight, we need to move through, hopefully, and talk about this program agreement. It will then go to the OTO Executive Committee to approve that federal classification. We're already started on survey, boundary, and topo. The reason we haven't gotten too much further on engineering is because we want to be reimbursed for engineering. So we're doing a little upfront to kind of figure everything out. Once this passes, we then become eligible for reimbursement. So got a lot of design right now, kind of setting on standby, but we've got some great data, and that's helped us to this point. Up next, we're going to select a design firm. Because of the size of this project, MoDOT will just allow us to use an on-call engineer. That will save us 10 weeks because we won't have to go through the RFQ process. We just have to submit our on-call engineer that we select to MoDOT and to OTO, and this will keep moving. The intersection, I kind of got ahead of myself earlier. The letting is in November. We're timing this to where our 22nd Street corridor improvements will be put in the coldest time of year when all the paving companies are looking for work. And we'll put that out to bid at that time. And we're hoping all of these projects, you know how it is with projects, but we're doing our best to plan this to where these projects dovetail together and make significant improvements for the community. Overall, what I've seen so far, the plan from 3 to 3B, it's good. I'm really liking what the initial data is telling us, what the traffic counts are telling us. And I think back to the most bang for your buck, this is it. I would love to build that boulevard, but at what cost? And that's still not off the map completely. We will get back to that. But I think this is the best plan for us right now. And MoDOT and OTO agree with us on this. So this program agreement that's in front of you tonight would set that project in motion. So there's been a lot going on behind the scenes for a few months, a lot of paperwork and things like that. Now it's time to really start rolling. So with that, any questions about this project?
Okay. Alderman Snyder?
Can you back one slide up for me, please?
Yeah. Then Alderman Campbell.
You see where the mud house is, that entire business complex, State Farm, mud house?
Yeah.
Okay, the intersection that bleeds out to the east, is that going to be re-engineered to where those folks aren't going to have to deal with some heartache? No, over to your left a little bit.
Oh, this
Right there.
Yes.
They struggle with that immensely. And even with the intersection improvement that I see, that's still going to be a headache for those folks. Is that in conversation now to be
It's in the
readdressed?
conversation. I will tell you, when you cut off access, full access from developers and from retail establishments like that, you can get a lot of pushback. We're hoping the data shows that it'll work better for them, but I can't answer that question right now. I will tell you we're all over it though. Same on the other side. Right now we're showing essentially what could be a right-in, right-out at the Rapid Roberts, but we don't have a full set of plans yet. So we need to do the work to make sure that the work matches up with the design.
Gotcha. And I do understand that. It's just, I do have concerns about that when the construction starts.
Yeah.
You know, are they going to make any modifications? Will the modifications be, efficient enough to make that traffic run through there smoothly?
Yeah.
Now, the second part of this, initially, when we talked about this, in one of your presentations, you said the bridge, the intersection, the boulevard we'd be under one construction umbrella. All the projects would be going on at one time. Is that still going to occur
No,
here?
because of the length of the first contract for the decking, they decided to go ahead and push that forward. And we agreed because we want progress, right? But this one, it'll be the decking project first, the intersection, and then we'll tie in our job to the intersection project.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Campbell.
Alderman Snyder touched on what I was going to ask about. I was going to ask more specifically about Rapid Roberts and Mud House both.
Yeah.
But I think we got the answer on the Mud House that we're going to get for now.
Yeah.
Is there anything on the Rapid Roberts other than possibility of a ride-in, ride-out? Is there any other options?
We've thrown a pork chop in there. You've seen the pork chops for ride in, ride out is what they call them. And that could work efficiently. But again, we want to let the engineering take place so that we better understand how that can flow. But yes, ride in, ride out has been looked at extensively.
Okay. And just to follow up, if I can, there's a big drop off, as you obviously know, on the east side of.
Yeah, here it is right here. You can see
Exactly.
our project too. This whole new box culvert will be put in there. So
we'll get wider easement there or whatever you might call it.
that's correct.
Okay.
That right there is probably about 25% of the total project cost right there.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a monster. It dives down and those boxes are going to have to be huge. But we're planning for it so that we get more land to the east so that we can make that right turn.
Okay.
And it's a utility nightmare. You know this.
Yeah.
It looks like spaghetti through there with all the utilities going every which way, but we'll fix it.
Okay. Anyone else? Alderman Galloway.
So it seems like there were two phases or two things that you're talking about. One are improvements designed to address stacking at that intersection at CC. And then the other one was a road improvement to 22nd Street itself, further back, or did I miss that?
Yeah, so the other one is the road improvement all the way. They're going to be at the same time. They'll be bid at the same time, but the project will be bid from Longview to CC. I just broke it down for 3 different segments so you could see them better.
Okay, so from Longview to CC, what is happening?
So we've got a combination of mill and fill, where we'll come in and mill where we've got some decent pavement. We've already done this as well. We've done the pavement coring, the asphalt coring to see what's underneath there. Some of it we're going to be able to get away with just milling 2 inches and putting another 2 inches. Some of it we're going to have to replace. If you've seen the pavement condition outside of Old World there, where all those dump trucks have been turning for years and years now, that's going to be a complete replacement. But we've done the analysis. We can look at it, but the best thing we can do is core down into it, and we can see, okay, this section only has 3 inches of asphalt. This is going to require a complete rip out.
So what will be happening on 22nd Street is the second part of your presentation is just simply getting the road up to standard, or?
That's correct. And having a true dedicated left-hand lane throughout there and doing some different traffic markings and striping that clearly delineates where you should be and where you should pull off to get into Old World.
Oh, a dedicated left-hand lane to get into Old World?
Yep.
Okay, that, I can see where that would be an improvement for the, all right, I see it. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Any final comments?
Well, I like this project.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Since this is the first reading at this time, anyone here tonight wish to speak regarding bill number 3675 from the public? I'm opening it up.
Jeannie McFall, 1324 East Warren Avenue.
Just have a question about what's going to happen at Longview and 22nd with all this extra traffic. If there's going to be a stop sign, a stop light, or if it's going to be, continue to be, take your own risk on the hill there.
Yes, since if you have the answer for that.
Yeah, and it's somewhat of a complicated one, G. Because there's two different road jurisdictions right here. Longview is actually owned by OSRD, and so is this section of 20th. So at this time, we can only go to Longview. But we've already started on a master plan that would essentially take this hairpin curve out of here completely and run this road down to where it joins with 20th Street. Now, the good news is that in the OTO federal classification change that we submitted all the way from CC to 14, but we've only got enough money to address Longview, and technically that is under OSRD to the south. So it's definitely on the radar. We're limited to what we can do right now because of A, jurisdiction, and B, money.
So it just continue to be
Okay.
like this.
Okay, Jeannie, thank you very much. We're not supposed to be doing this. Okay. Alderman Campbell.
Mr. Parks, say again, did I understand you to say that 22nd Street, instead of going up and have the 90-degree turn, that it would go straight through?
Yeah, we've got a preliminary design that goes to the south here, Mr. Campbell, and kind of curves over, curves over into 20th. And the reason we have that as a preliminary design is if a project comes in to develop across that greenfield site, we want to capture the right-of-way necessary to make that road safe.
Okay. And then a follow-up to that. It seems to me like we'll need to allow for future expansion or a future east-west corridor and get away from 20th Street in that area.
Yep.
And get farther to the west. Is that right?
You're nailing it. That whole Longview corridor is part of the master plan for the Longview interchange. And we've laid that out to make sure that we're capturing enough right-of-way for that as well.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anyone else from the public who wishes to speak regarding bill number 3675 from the public? Okay, I'm not seeing movement. Was anyone on the Zoom? I didn't ask. Okay, therefore, at this time, I'm going to close the public portion of this to the public speaking. Is there any final board comments? I'm not seeing any. Therefore, Bill 3675 we held over to future meeting. There's no resolutions tonight. This time we'll turn to our reports of officers, our city administrator, Eric Johnson.
Yes, sir, Your Honor. One brief update tonight regarding Ozark Marketplace. For those of you who maybe have not heard, we have officially issued a building permit for Aldi. That was issued a couple of weeks ago, and according to their schedule, they're hoping to be open by mid-December, December of 2025. And I believe, Jeremy, do you want to address any issues relative to traffic and developments or updates that you may have?
Yeah, and maybe Ms. Calloway can help a little bit too, but all the documents that we needed the last time we were up here, the final documents have been approved. The final plat has been recorded. As Mr. Johnson just said, we had a great pre-construction meeting with Aldi's last week. If you want a really good example of what this building is going to look like, they just built one in Clinton, Missouri. It's their new prototype. And I asked the gentleman, the GC, how long will it take to deliver this project? And he told me 19 and a half weeks. And I said, can you be more specific? But he said that these come together really quickly.
Can you put them in contact with Burger King?
Yeah. You want to take that one?
Okay. Snyder.
Well, my question is regarding the marketplace. It's great that Aldi's going to have a construction plan. Do what? Someone say something?
I'm sorry. Please keep no comments. Okay.
Well, I'm just curious, what about MoDOT?
No,
Where's the construction access? I mean, that, I'm not being mean, but why is MoDOT not start any construction access off of Highway 14 into that area?
They're doing it off of 20th so that it wouldn't be such a traffic concern on 14.
So there's
MoDOT also owns that outer road that goes down to the cemetery over there. That's part of their jurisdiction. So they wanted a construction entrance in a safer place.
Okay, so there's not going to be any entrance off of Highway 14?
Not a construction entrance until the very end when they're building that road expansion. They didn't want all those big vehicles turning in and out on 14 there. So that's why 20th Street is being utilized.
Okay, and I was confused on that because if my memory serves me right, the developer said they had every permit they needed to access that property from 3 different directions there. And again, I'm not being mean. I'm just trying to get an answer because I've been asked this multiple times.
Yeah, I know that they also, Waverly will connect to 17th, which you've seen the plans for that. And then that intersection that's currently a 3-way intersection will become a 4-way intersection at one point. So, but right now it is the safest way to get into that site is off of either the MoDOT outer road or 17th. That way you don't have all that construction traffic turning onto 14 or to South Street. So.
Okay, that is somewhat concerning because of the traffic, like on 17th with the blind hill, coming in and out of there. Have they put any mitigation things in there to help eliminate speed and things of that nature on that hill?
I know when they submitted their plan, sir, that they submitted a traffic control plan that has all the MUTCD standards of the signage to say work zone, slow, cones, all those things. We had to review those. And ultimately, 17th Street will also get reviewed by OSRD as well, because that's their road. So you'll have 2 different sets of eyes on that.
Gotcha, because I've been asked by several folks that live in that area about the safety of that entrance that we're talking about. I want to make sure those folks come first.
They're making some significant improvements. As you well know, that is a blind spot on the hillside there.
Mm-hmm.
So that is all part of the PIP, the public improvement plans.
Gotcha. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay. Campbell.
You may have just answered this, but the MUTCD that you mentioned, I just want to make sure that Alderman Snyder realizes MUTCD is only during construction. That's temporary stuff. But then you mentioned what you call it, PIP?
The public improvement plans? Yes.
Yeah, that's the permanent.
That's the long range improvements.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Once it's opened up and everything.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any other comments for Director Parson? Okay, thank you. Okay, you're good? Okay. Any final comments from our city council member board tonight? Yes, ma'am.
Just a question about Burger King. What's going on?
I should have said that. Yes.
Sure. Yes, Planning Development Department, and Randall can correct me anything I'm misspeaking about, but they do have a meeting set up with the owner and the contractor. It was tomorrow morning, but it got moved to Thursday morning due to the request of the contractor. The owner is asking the contractor as well, we need to get this back in order as he's getting pressure from Burger King corporate. So yes, the Planning Development team will be meeting with the owner and contractor to try to get things back in order. Thursday at 11 a.m., I believe.
Yes, sir.
What if we could get an update on Greenbridge? The last time I asked, they were allowed to get their construction entrance in, but I'm not sure if they've got their land disturbance permit. Is it gone through yet?
We're talking about Greenbridge Estates now?
Greenbridge.
Almost positive that the developer, there's an OSRD meeting tomorrow at 3:30 where they were bringing an alternative construction entrance off of Greenbridge for OSRD's board to review. That was the last communication we had. They were originally shown to come off of 10th Avenue and Stone Ridge, and the developer requested that he use that access easement. It's actually his property, but it has to be approved by OSRD.
Well, they've already cleared the construction entrance. I mean, it's there basically.
Yeah, no, and they came in and made it very aware to the developer, and that's when he stopped doing what he was doing. So that's why they're meeting tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where they've got the construction entrance now, are you saying that there's a possibility that that will not be a construction entrance?
I think ultimately it lies in the hands of the OSRD. I do know that DNR was 100% happy with that construction entrance because you've got those stone gates and you've got just kind of a better route there. And his goal was to put steel plates over that access drive.
Which they've done that.
Yeah, they'd have. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've probably seen it more recently than I have.
I've driven it 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. I just answer questions when they come
Okay,
in.
right. I got you. The last word I heard was that they were allowed to put their construction entrance in prior to having a land disturbance permit. And at that time, the construction entrance was in.
Well, the land.
Mr. Smith may
No,
have more
I can
information
tell
on
you,
that.
I can tell you from experience that the land disturbance permit and the land disturbance security deposit, all of that was obtained by the city prior to them putting that entrance in. All he
No,
has at this point
I don't
is a
think that's
grading
accurate.
permit.
Let's get an assistant city administrator involved in, because I don't think that's accurate.
So I think what you're referring to is when you stopped in my office the other day, there is an understanding that a construction entrance and BMPs can get started before the escrow is obtained for the land disturbance. That was my understanding. Maybe I misunderstood that, but when I drove by there last Thursday, they have yet to build a construction entrance to Greenbridge. It was only across the private drive on their property. They had yet to put the gravel out to Greenbridge.
Say that again now. You're not seeing a construction entrance?
When I drove by there last, which I believe is Thursday, could have been Wednesday, there was no gravel to Greenbridge. It was only across the existing private drive on their property, because when OSRD got with them, they stopped completing that construction entrance.
Did you see where they'd taken the fence out?
You took the fence out, yes, but they didn't put gravel down for a construction entrance.
I thought I saw a pile of gravel there.
They had a pile of gravel, but they spread it on either side of the private drive.
Okay, I got you.
I can confirm that as well, because I drove the area middle part of last week. There was a pile of gravel, but it had not been spread and it had not been connected to Greenbridge Road.
Okay, so just to be clear, and I don't know, okay? I'm just trying to put it all together in my head. I thought I was told, and I could have misunderstood, but I thought I was told that we were allowing them to put in the construction entrance and tear all the trees out, coming from the Greenbridge gate area, I'll call it, that we were allowing them to go ahead and push those trees over and do all that work prior to getting a land disturbance permit. And
I think Jeremy just answered that question.
Yeah.
no, I know he did, but that's not the answer
If you're
that I had
talking about
received
our
earlier.
Yeah, if you're talking about our conversation, that's not correct.
Okay,
They can put up the BMPs, the silt sock and stuff. And I understand the construction entrance can be in place, but no clearing, grubbing, removing of trees.
there's a lot of clearing that's been done on the construction, on what appears to be a construction entrance. Are you in agreement with that?
I'm not aware of it, sir, and I'm not aware of the conversations that the two of you have had. We're
Right.
certainly happy to investigate it outside of this meeting.
I
if
would
that
love
be-
to, I would
yeah.
love to go with you
Okay,
and show you what I have seen.
certainly, sir. We could do that tomorrow if you want to.
Okay. After,
If that would help.
after
our
our
meeting in the
morning meeting?
Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
sir.
That'd be good.
Okay, we'll do it.
Anyone else from the board? Yes, Alderman Galloway.
Oh, I hate to do this, but I don't want to sit in a meeting and listen to conversation and have no idea what is being said. Can somebody just tell me what the issue is that we just discussed? Not the detail of it. What is the problem that is being presented?
I will do my best.
Okay.
I believe there is some concern about the contractor mobilizing equipment for land disturbance and land clearance related to the Greenbridge subdivision. And I believe there has perhaps been some conversations and some confusion, perhaps, regarding access that they may or may not have to Greenbridge Road. Is that accurate thus far? And I believe that they intend to go to a meeting tomorrow to meet with the OSRD board to obtain the actual permission to get the access that they would like to have.
So it's an OSRD issue? Is the city involved in it?
The granting of the access to this developer / contractor is an OSRD decision, not a city decision.
Okay.
But I believe there are some legitimate questions and concerns about maybe process. And it sounds like that Mr. Alderman Campbell's questions may be answered tomorrow when we have a chance to go get into the field.
The process that OSRD is using and whether that's followed?
Or the process. Jeremy, I'm going to have to defer to you regarding our issuing of land clearance permits.
Yeah, so what we did was we had a pre-construction meeting with the developer, but we did not sign the documents until we get the appropriate securities in place. So I think what kind of started all this is he had started moving in equipment and that alerted OSRD. So that's why OSRD has come back and said, hey, pump the brakes. We need to make sure that you've got a permit to come off of Greenbridge.
Okay.
Right? Okay.
My concern has nothing to do with OSRD. My concern has to do, when I said construction entrance, I didn't actually mean that going from the Greenbridge Road onto the property. I mean going from within the property and tearing out trees. And I mean, I've got 8 or 10 pictures right here, tearing out trees and pushing dirt. And not only have they mobilized equipment, they've cut through the woods there. I don't know if you want to see the pictures or you just, whatever your desire is, I've got pictures to show you. Of land disturbance.
I can assure you that their land disturbance permit is in place and they've got a grading permit.
These pictures are dated June 25th. And
we can look back at the
Mr.
document.
Smith told me that they did not have a land disturbance permit, but that if I understood him correctly, and I could have misunderstood. I'm not.
No.
I'm not pointing any fingers here.
We'll figure it out. Yeah.
But what I thought I heard was that we were allowing them to go ahead and cut through the woods there, which they have done on these June 25th pictures, prior to getting a land disturbance permit.
Okay.
Well, Your Honor and Alderman Campbell, my suggestion is that we have too many questions and we don't have information and the answers for you at this time. So I would recommend that we huddle tomorrow after the administrative committee hearing.
Okay.
And we put our heads together and we sort it out. Does that sound reasonable?
Yes, very
Okay.
much so.
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. And as a reminder, the agenda meeting tomorrow, Maria and I have a 7:30 engagement, so it's not 8:30. We're going to start at 9:30 for the ones who are involved in that. And then the administrative meeting will be at 10:30 because of that. So if no final comments, I entertain a motion for adjournment.
Yes, I move that we adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. The motion is for adjournment was made by Alderman Metcalf, second by Alderman Aiken. All in favor of the motion to adjourn, do so by show of hands. It does carry, and we are adjourned. Thank you all very much.